Hi there. Hi, everyone. I hope you're having a lovely Wednesday. It's that time of March where things are crazy. If you're an actor, it's audition season. If you pay taxes, it's tax season. If you have friends that are getting married, it's approaching wedding season. It's a crazy time for everyone. So I hope you're all doing well and doing well with your respective challenge of the month. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started today. Let me take this ticker out and then, yeah, we're good and ready to get started. So I got to see Lou Berger and the Wizard of Friendship off Broadway this week at Theater Row. If you know the Try Guys, Keith Habersberger has a band, and their band is Lou Berger with Huey Stonefish and Alex Lewis, and they wrote an off-Broadway show. It's so funny, so silly. I think the whole thing is sold out, so I don't think you can get tickets anymore to it. Sorry about that. That was a strange vocal whatever. Anyway, got to see the show. It was so goofy, so fun. It was a blast. So if you have a chance to see Lou Berger either in concert, out of town, or whether they do their show again, I highly recommend it. And then I'm also seeing Shucked next week, so I'm incredibly stoked about that. It's about corn. That's all we got, folks. And I couldn't be more excited to be going into a show as blind as this. So I will update when I have my next shows coming up and let you know how it is, besides perhaps that it's about corn. But who knows? Maybe I'll just say it's about corn and tell you to go watch it. But we'll see how it goes. And with that, we'll go ahead and start our episode. This is episode 61 of Overtures, and my guest today is a writer, composer, actor, singer, director, and producer. He graduated from Rider University with degrees in musical theater and popular music studies. Dean was the winner of the 2017 Roger Rees Awards in New York City and went on to be featured at the 2017 Jimmy Awards for his performance of Sky Masterson in Guys and Dolls. His original album, Juxtaposition, can be found on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, and more. And he made his New York City solo debut performing the songs from his album at the acclaimed Don't Tell Mama in Juxtaposition live. He wrote the book, music, and lyrics to Alone, a new musical which debuted in concert at 54 Below to a sold-out crowd. Alone was nominated for 15 Broadway World Awards, including Best Original Song and Best Director for himself. He recently turned to the 54 Below stage to perform in 54 Sings Lady Gaga, performing the hit anthem Born This Way. In 2023, he founded Lines in the Sky, a production company to help new writers get their original works on their feet. My guest and I met perhaps moments ago, and although we just met, we do have some mutuals, including former guest on Overtures, Lavender Logan Kelly, who was a part of the debut of his musical Alone at 54 Below. So without further ado, this is Dean Tyler Kay.
Hey.
Hi, so happy to have you here. Happy to have you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. I just love everything that's going on in the background here. I don't know what all is on your walls and otherwise, but I'm like, I love it. I love the vibe.
Thanks.
Is that like a lyre in the background, like the Greek instrument?
Oh, this way. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is I like things. I'm a big lover of things.
Yes.
So this is a very heavy, very old music stand
Oh
in the
my
shape of yeah.
gosh. That's a
So
gorgeous music stand.
thanks. Yeah.
Amazing. And I always like to introduce the episode being like, how do I know my guest? And most often it's like college or someone that I've worked with. And what's exciting today is that we don't really know each other, which is so fun.
Yeah, that's exciting. I'm excited to learn more about you as you learn about me. So
Yes,
this
exactly.
should be fun.
Exactly. Out of curiosity, how did you find me? I have a guess, but I'd love to hear from you first.
Someone posted on their Instagram story that you were looking for people to feature. I don't remember who. Maybe Skylar or maybe it was Logan. I don't remember whose story it was, but I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting."
No, that's okay, because I was, like, scrolling through different things, and I'm like, maybe it was through Logan, maybe it was through well, not writer folks, because I haven't had too many besides, like, Teresa when I worked with her on, Best Christmas Pageant Ever, and then I was like, maybe it was Ross, because I think you guys were working on,
It was Ross. It
Yes,
was Ross.
amazing.
Yes, it was
No,
Ross.
he's so amazing at being like, "Hey, go check out Overtures," and I'm so grateful because he sends me some awesome people. So that makes me excited that you found me and that we're all here and we're ready to chat. And it's we were saying beforehand, I was so excited to get to talk to Dean because I've worked with several folk that you went to school with very recently, and so it's just so funny how this is such a small world.
Very small world, yeah.
So going back to the beginning of things, how did you first get started in theater?
Oh, wow. So I was a kid that did not really know what to do with myself. I had a lot of energy and a lot of passion, but I didn't know where to place all that passion. I tried a bunch of sports. I was bad at everything.
Same.
And and then in elementary school, my like music teacher, shout out to Mrs. Hagland, um, she was like, "Dean, like you can sing. You should join the choir and you should like try out for the musical, Seussical the musical." Um,
That's one of like the first shows for so many people, and it makes my heart so happy that that's the case.
yes, I am a big fan of Seussical. Even today, I still
Yes.
advocate for how good it is. But so yeah, so I did Seussical. I was JoJo, and it was I learned that I could do that, and I was good at it, and I also loved being the center of attention. So, um, yeah, it kinda stuck, and then through middle school and high school, it just that passion grew and grew and grew, and here
Yeah,
I am.
absolutely. So then, being that you're on Overtures, I always love to ask what people's Overture moment was, which is that light bulb of like, "Oh, I think I wanna do this, like, with my career in my life."
Yeah, that's an interesting thing because I went to a public school. We had a
Okay.
good theater program, but, it was not, like, focused on theater.
Yeah.
So, you know, the guidance counselors and the teachers were like, "You have to do something practical in college," and
Right.
I was one of the only people that was like, "No, no, I'm gonna go to school for this," and
Yeah.
I think it was because, um, there was nothing else I could think of to do. Like,
Yes.
and I did a lot in high school revolving around theater,
Mhm.
and the more I did, the more I was like, this is like, I could do this forever, you know, like, why not?"
Yeah.
Um, so whether it was, like, being the vice president of the thespian troupe or, like, directing our senior roadshow, like, I don't know what it was, but when I got into those college discussions, it was never a question that I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go for theater."
Yeah, and it sounds like it was really nice because you got a chance to do lots of different things within theater when you were, like, in high school and so on, so you're like, "Okay, even if it is, like, something different than I think it'll be, I know it's gonna be theater, so I might as well just go to school for that thing."
Absolutely, and it's always something that they say, like, "You're too much of a dreamer, like, you have to think more
Mm,
practical,"
right.
and doing all the different things showed me that, like, theater can be practical. There's a million things to do in theater, whether it's directing, producing, marketing, literally writing, anything. There's so many things, so
Yeah, there are so many jobs within theater, so I think it's so funny when people are like, That's not practical." I'm like, "Do you know how many logistical practical jobs there have to be in theater in order for the rest of us to go do our silly things?" Like,
yeah.
so many, so
So
many.
many.
So, I'm curious, you were talking a bunch about how you were in high school and doing, like, the acting parts of things and as well as directing and things like that. Where did writing and composing come in for you?
Yeah, so so funny. The first song I ever wrote, um, I came out of the closet freshman year of high school,
Wow.
and again, I like to be the center of attention, so I wasn't just telling people like, "Hey, I'm gay." No, I made it a project for my health class, like a big presentation, and
Oh
then I
my
was like, "I'm gonna
gosh.
write a song and post it on Facebook and let everyone in the world know that I'm gay because
Oh my
I can't do
god.
anything quietly." So I wrote a song. It's called "Here I Am Who I Am," and, once I wrote that and people were pretty receptive to it, I was like, "Oh, like, I can write too." So then I kept writing throughout high school, and, again, it just snowballed into something that I, like, really fell in love with.
I love that. And that how beautiful that that love for writing came out of like finding your sexuality as well and being able to like being like, "Oh, I found this medium that I think I want to express this really powerful thing in." And then continuing to fall in love with that medium like of creating art. Like I think that's so incredibly special. I'm so curious, are you one that like composes like piano? Are you one of those crazy people who do it in their heads and then put it on paper? Guitar? I'd love to know because it just boggles my mind.
You know, people ask that a lot, like, or do you start with the lyrics or do you start like, how
Right.
does it happen? And for me, it's always been I love words. Even in the songs I listen to, I'm like, if it's not good lyrical content, then like
Mhm.
I don't like it as much. I'm big on lyrics.
Right.
So it often starts as writing lyrics, but as I write the lyrics, the melody usually comes with it. So in my
Mm.
head. So I'll be writing the lyrics and I'm like, "Oh, like that's the melody." And then once I have it, I'll go and sit down at the piano and I'll play the melody, find the chords around it, and build that from there. So,
Gotcha. That's so
yeah.
magical because I like would try and write like poetry in high school and like that alone was hard, but the idea of like the melody like coming to you as you're writing it, that's so special and so beautiful. Have you always played the piano or is that something that you picked up further along the way?
Yeah, I never played the piano until I went to write that first song. So I taught myself
Gotcha.
just that song. And then I didn't take formal piano lessons until college, actually. Um,
Wow.
yeah, shout out to Mariah Lots. And I only took like a few lessons. It was like a semester's worth. And then
Right.
I just taught myself and I play every day. Like, even if it's just for fun, I just
Mhm.
strengthen it and challenge myself to do something extra. I don't learn by the books anything. I don't do anything by the books. Um, I just figure it out as I go, and it's gotten me here.
I feel like sometimes that's the best kind of learning is figuring it out on your own because you're creating like those pathways for yourself. And I can imagine that's especially so like when you're playing an instrument, figuring out, okay, what's my style, my vibe? How does this work for me? It like puts your stamp
Yeah,
on it.
absolutely. And people have say that like you can tell this is your song because of the way
Mm,
you play it and because of the way it's written, which is cool to hear because
yeah.
like that's the goal is to create a
Yeah.
sound that's uniquely mine.
Some people go so many years being like, what is my sound? So that's so cool that you're like, well, being the circumstances as they are, I kind of found it from the get go.
Yeah.
And so you have your album Juxtaposition. This is an original album of yours. I'm assuming not a musical. Uh, so I'm curious, where how did this come about? Was this something that you compiled over time, or was it meant to all go together from the start?
Yeah, so I mean, as you can see from the background, I'm a big pop music person. I grew up loving the Beatles and I don't know. Oh, Steven Tyler used to be on that speaker, but he fell down. Um I'm a big lover of pop music. I always have been. So even when I started writing theater, it always had pop influence.
Mm,
Um so I wrote a lot of pop songs early college, and the first like my debut EP rule book was just 3 pop songs that I wrote, and once that, like, did as well as it did, and I did it with a producer, um, who, Rusta Salvo, shout out, he's great, and he was like, "I feel like your genre is, like, theatrical alternative pop, because you can hear the
ooh,
theater in it, but you can hear the pop in it." Um, so it is a pop album. And once Rulebook did well, I was over the pandemic, I was like, "I
mm,
think it's time I do a full album of this,"
yeah.
and I just did it. It was a passion project, pandemic.
That yeah, and because I it's one of those things that are like during the pandemic, I had definitely was one of those people who had such a hard time that like my artistic sensibilities in many ways did turn off during the pandemic. And obviously everyone coped in different ways, but it's always, I find that some incredible artistic work came out of the pandemic. And that's so special that you got to really like take that time and hone in on something that was so personal to you during such a really crazy time 3 years ago now.
Oy, yeah, I mean, it didn't come easily. I definitely struggled for a while, and it was through the writing of Juxtaposition that I was able to, like, rediscover the artistic drive. So,
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to make your solo debut here in New York City by performing at Don't Tell Mama with Juxtaposition Live. How was that?
it was interesting. I mean, it wasn't a very full house, but it didn't even matter because I it was the first time I'd ever, like, played piano publicly, first of all,
Oh,
which was
wow.
so scary.
Yeah.
Um, but it was also the first time that I was playing my original music, like, for an hour.
Yeah.
So, it was wild, very rewarding, very educational, honestly, and I look back on it and I laugh, but I also, like, think of it very fondly.
I'm curious, what are the things that you learned and also what were the things that made you laugh?
Well, when I say it wasn't a full house, it was, like, maybe 20 people, if even,
Okay. Okay.
um,
For Don't
but
Tell Mama, that's actually not too bad. It's a small space to begin with.
it is, yeah, you know, yeah, I just look back and there was, um, a lot of mistakes, like, logistically,
Mm.
piano-wise. I was like, "Oy," like, I was fighting through that song, um, and but, it got good reactions, everyone enjoyed themselves, so I just laugh at the scenario, because I probably wasn't ready for it, but
Mm.
I, like, made myself ready. Because in my mind, I was like, "If I just wait until I'm, like, ready, then it's never gonna happen, so I'm just gonna do it, and however it goes, and the more I do it, the better I'll get." So,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's advice that I think we all need to hear. Sometimes we need to just like not wait for the perfect time and just try it. And like as you were saying, like there are some things that you're looking back and you're like, I don't know, but also there are a lot of things that you gained from it too. So in the end, like you're gonna get more out of it than you might think, even if you're not quote unquote ready. Did you like self-produce this show and like how did you decide like I'm going to do this concert for myself?
um, hmm, I don't know, I just kind of, I knew I wanted to do something with Juxtaposition because again, it was a pandemic project, so it
Yeah.
didn't we didn't have like a launch party or like I wanted
Yeah.
something. So, and I had performed at Don't Tell Mama before in like a larger cabaret. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's kind of a cool place. Like maybe I'll do it there. Th- I'm telling you, like, even now, everything I do has stemmed from just being like, yeah, I'll do this. Like, why not? And so I just emailed them and I was like, hey, like, can I do this at your space? And they like gave me all like the logistic stuff. And I was like, cool, great. And again, it was a learning experience in terms of producing too, because um that's intimidating when you look like at the time I didn't see it as like I'm producing this. It was more of
Right.
like, I'm just doing this. It's just me.
Yeah.
Hey. But I did learn a lot about producing from that.
Yeah, and obviously came, that ends up helping you later on, as we'll talk about Lines in the Sky as that comes along later on. But I wanna talk about Alone next. So Alone is an original musical that you wrote. You wrote the book, the music, the lyrics, you did all the things. Was this your first full musical that you've ever written?
So I had written a full musical senior year of high school called Hand in
Okay.
Hand. Never saw the light of day. We did like a reading of it in my friend's house. It was not that good. Um, So it was technically the second full musical I'd ever written, but the first one that I um like followed through with.
Right, right. The other one had no pieces to salvage.
Only one piece we salvaged. We performed it at our recent concert at the Green Room 42.
Oh, nice.
We did a little moment of this song exists, and it was performed by Rihanna Carreri, who was amazing. And that song actually got a great reception, which is so funny because I wrote it such a long time ago.
That's so fun though to be like, "Oh, I guess this, like, does this can work. I can still maybe take this one with me for later on."
Maybe, maybe.
And so Alone's debut not only sold out at 54 Below, but it was nominated for 15 Broadway World Awards. That must have been such an incredible feeling.
Yeah, I mean, that whole experience was, like, mind-blowing. I was directing, producing, and performing in it, from, like, the casting of it, trying to find people who would just, like, trust me and trust my work, um, and the fact that 54 Below trusted me too as, like,
Yeah.
never performing there. I was kind of new to I just graduated college, um, so it was a lot of trust that was put in me, and, it was, yeah, just, such a rewarding experience from beginning to end.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd love to know what is Alone about and what inspired it?
Yeah, Alone, so the tagline is, "We can pass hundreds of people in a day, and every one of them has a story that you'll never know." Um, so it's this idea that, everyone is living a unique life and going through unique hardship. Um, so it's very, mundane, real life people living real life. You meet like 12 different characters, learn a little bit about them, but not enough to know them
Mm.
too well, just like in real life. And by the end, they learn that they're not as alone as they thought they were. And just humans are more connected than they think they are.
I love that so, so much. And we have a small clip from a rehearsal of you singing Reality. And if you want to give me a little bit of context about this song before I pull it up and we can watch.
Cool. So Reality is sung by Jackson, who had very recently reconnected with their ex partner, Hope. Um, they had broken up 6 years prior, hadn't seen each other since. But Hope kind of confides in Jackson in a very difficult point in their life. And this is Jackson's way of kind of processing the resurfacing of these emotions and
Mm,
just kind of contemplating the world we live in.
yeah. Here's a small snippet of it. That's so cool to watch you get to sing your own material, even though you're not the one like accompanying yourself.
Yeah, that was Christian Cantrell on piano, and that was Pearl Studios. It was just really exciting to be in a rehearsal room,
Yeah.
and yeah, to be able to sing my own song. That's something that I feel very strongly about for me personally because I
Yeah.
love performing. But performing my own material is really special.
Yeah, I can imagine. And when this show then went to Green Room 42, we'll talk about that in a second. This song wasn't performed by you, but another very talented person. And the full clip of the song, if people want to hear the full song, it's on the Lines in the Sky YouTube page, and I'll put all the links below after the show. But yeah, so earlier this month, like not even that long ago, was it like maybe like a week or two ago? Not even. um, you guys
Last
brought
week.
you guys brought Alone to Green Room 42 for Journey to Being Alone. And this concert was a bit different from the 54 Below concert. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I wanted to do something with Alone again, because I had written some new material for it, and I wanted to share it, but I didn't wanna just do another concert version of it. I wanted to
Mhm.
do something a little more personal, talking about the process, maybe bringing in some of my pop songs. So that's what we did, and, it was really fun. I got to connect a little more to the audience and talk about the writing process, and hear some different people singing these songs
Yeah.
and people singing my pop songs, which was so cool. And yeah, that was literally last Monday.
That's so crazy. Well, and you guys put up the footage so quickly. Like these clips are gorgeous, and I can't wait to play this in a second. But how did the concert go? How did you feel about it?
Oh, it was amazing. It went so well. It was recorded by Famous in New York, who just always puts out such great work. And the green room, that was my first time at the Green Room 42.
It's a cool
Beautiful.
space. It's so cool. It's so interesting.
Beautiful and beautiful people working there, like, everyone was
Mhm.
so kind and so passionate,
Yeah.
um, so it was just such a great night.
That's so much fun. And you said that there was some new songs for the show at this performance. How's the, I guess, rewriting, editing, things like that going for Alone?
Oh, it's so good. I love feedback. I'm the kind of person that wants to hear what you think about it.
Yeah.
So during the 54 Below process, I told the whole cast, I was like, "You can be brutally honest with me because, the actor's perspective is just as valuable as the writer's perspective."
Mhm.
And I got a lot of really great feedback from that, and I took it and, ran with it. And, we're still tweaking, but one of the new songs, "Shoot Your Shot," was, um, an idea that Kevin Bernard, who was in the 54 Below show, gave to me. He was like, "I think you need more of an up-tempo song in this moment, and, like, it would be cool if he was a little more stumbly with everything." So I was like, "I think you're absolutely right." And that song went over so well at the Green Room 42, so
Ah, how
yeah.
exciting. And I love hearing from another like composer that you like want that kind of feedback from actors, because I fully believe that as well. Like I think that so often actors can bring some really valuable insight that as a writer you're like, I didn't even think of that. Like I sometimes dabble in writing plays and things like that, and sometimes the feedback that you can get from your actors is like, oh, yeah, I totally see that. How did I not see that before? Even though technically I'm an actor first and I still didn't realize it when I was writing. So I think that kind of feedback, like you said, is just invaluable.
Yeah, I believe wholeheartedly that a writer with tunnel vision produces a lousy piece. So
Yes,
even the
100%.
audience's feedback is give me all the feedback.
Yes, exactly. And since we're talking about like your new work, but also getting to see another little clip from Alone, I have this little clip from Forgotten Ones, so we're gonna watch that quick.
Stories, lies. We're the forgotten ones, all the stories you'll never know. See, even when you get to learn a little, there's still so much you'll never know. Never know. We're the forgotten ones.
Oh my gosh. So heckin' good. I that chord in the middle, ooh, gives me shivers. Shivers.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
That is one of my personal favorites from the show. And those were all the 6 original forgotten ones from 54 Below, which was so exciting. They are so good.
They're so crazy good. I'm curious about the context of that one within the space of the show.
Yeah, well, I wrote it. I'm a huge fan of acapella, which I was the music director of my college's acapella group, Till Further Notice.
Absolutely. We love acapella.
And, I just loved writing for acapella. It's such a different beast, and
It
the
really
product
is.
could be so magical. So, yeah, I just like the idea of acapella. But so the context of it is just like the tagline, all these people we pass every day are living entire lives. So even in the context of a show, you're learning about these specific people, but there's still so many more people that you'll never know anything about. So this is kind of the ensemble stepping forward and saying like, hey, we're here too. We live entire lives that you'll never know about. Just a reminder of the experiences surrounding you every day.
Yeah, absolutely. And was that a song that was in the original production, or was this one a new one that was written after the 54 Below concert?
This was in the original production. It was the last song I had written before the 54 Below concert. Right? Yeah, it was the most fresh song.
Gotcha. That's so wonderful though to like get to work in a medium like acapella, because I feel like in theater we never get to see acapella. Like we had In Transit for like a blip on Broadway years ago, and I'm like kicking myself that I never got to see it. But I, as someone who is like a wholehearted choir kid from high school, we don't use acapella enough, dang it. Like come on.
Yes, absolutely. I'm also a choir kid and I
Yes.
love choir. I did see In Transit on Broadway.
How
And
was that?
I really enjoyed it. The music is so cool. Like again, a cappella is such a strong tool for storytelling, and like everyone loves a good harmony. Like it tickles a part of your brain that like you don't get with other mediums. So
Yeah.
a whole show of it was a lot, but it was really like enjoyable and
And
nice to listen
obviously,
to.
yeah, and obviously different than like anything that anyone had heard before, like on a Broadway stage. So I think it's always fun to put those things out there and be like, could it last for however long? Probably not. But if we get a chance to listen to it, spark some ideas. It sparks some ideas. And then
Absolutely.
of course, everyone can watch any of the songs from the Green Room 42 performance on the Lines in the Sky YouTube page. So like go listen to all of them because these sound gorgeous and I want to hear all the rest of them as well.
Yes, we will be posting them slowly.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Subscribe and you'll get notifications. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
How did you decide what like pop music to use for that concert?
Um, that's an interesting question because my mother has a lot of opinions on my pop music, and she definitely has her favorites.
Mhm.
And she was like, "Why didn't you pick Paperboy? Why is no one singing Paperboy?" I'm like, I just picked. For me, it was about the songs that told a story.
Mm.
So, uh, in a theatrical medium, it's about storytelling.
Yeah.
So we did Keep Dreamin' Boy, which is a story song, very like Bruce Springsteen-esque.
Yeah.
And then we did Here I Am, which is again the first song I ever wrote to come out. Bah, bah, bah. And the other pop song, I did Lines in the Sky because that's where the production company name comes from. And yeah, and I think that's it for the pop music. Oh, and then I did 2 like very new pop songs. But nothing against my other pop songs, and hopefully I'll be able to perform them again very soon, hint hint.
Ooh.
But
Love that.
yeah.
Love that. What's next for Alone? Are you in a process of like wanting to go back and still edit some more, or is it a hanging out for a little bit and coming back to it, or are there things in the works we don't know about?
So, in terms of writing, I feel pretty good about where it's at right now. Nothing is ever done. If you say you're done with something, you're
You're
lying.
not.
Nothing is ever done. Um, but I feel pretty good about where it's at right now.
Good.
And I do want to do um, the next step, whether that's a full production or a workshop production, a reading. I don't know. We're still exploring, but it's a project that I really care about and I believe in.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm also writing a lot of other things right now, so I'm not giving up on Alone. You will
Mm-mm.
definitely see more of Alone, but
Absolutely.
there's some other projects that I am very excited about too.
Yeah. After 2 successful concerts with the music from Alone, absolutely. I think I wouldn't be the only one to say that we'd be excited to see what comes next for that production. But it's exciting to hear you have other things in the works too. That's super fun. Can you give any hints or like talk a little bit about what any of those little projects are?
Sure. So I wrote a play. It's called Welcome to Chaos, and it's a one-person show. I wrote it for me, but
Mhm.
now I want to do it with someone else.
Mm.
um, so that's kind of one of my main focuses right now is I want to do a production of this, even if it's a week or two engagement off Broadway with Lines in the Sky, with someone else starring as that main character.
That's fun.
Um,
Would
it's
it
an
still remain a
interesting
one-person
show.
show? Oh, sorry. Would it still remain a one-person show or become a
Yes,
two-hander? Oh, okay, gotcha.
it's a one-person show through and through. It's just the one actor. Um, it's about like in a little over an hour on the, shorter side,
Yeah.
and it's pretty interesting.
Well, I'm excited to hear more about that as that develops because just the little smirk you have while talking about it makes me so curious as to what's happening in that show. Um, so I guess kind of going back, not going back, but pivoting a little bit before we start talking about Lines in the Sky. Obviously, you're an actor and singer. In your bio, you mentioned that you were featured at the 2017 Jimmy Awards. That's huge. How did you get to be a part of that?
Oh, bruh, it was wild. Again, coming from a public school, that's not something that we even, like, know about really. I didn't
No,
know
I
what the
didn't.
Jimmies were.
I didn't know what the Jimmies were until I got to college because I grew up in the Midwest and the Jimmies and theater that competes there's no concept or that of that anywhere in the state. So I was fascinated when I learned what the Jimmies were.
Yeah, even the regional program, like, it was something that I knew they did every year, but I didn't really know why. They were like, "Oh, it's like a competition with all the shows, and we're gonna send you, and Sarah as Sky and Adelaide," and I was like, "Okay." Like, "Sure." That day, first of all, was so cool because it was honestly my first time one of my first times in, like, a professional musical theater setting, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Whoa, like, is this what college is about to be like? This is intense." Um, and then, when I won, it was the first thing that I realized was the week of the Jimmy Awards is the same week as my high school graduation and prom.
Oh my
So
gosh.
so if I go to the Jimmys, I'm missing graduation and prom.
Both of them.
And
Oh my
yeah.
god.
And again, from a public school, like, that's a big deal.
Oh, 100%.
Um,
It's huge rite of passage.
yeah. So, it only took me, like, an hour to say, like, "You know what? I'm going to the Jimmy Awards. It sounds
That's
so cool."
sick.
And I'm so glad I did because what a week that was. What they do in that program is so magical.
Yeah.
Um, and I'll never forget it, really.
That's so cool. And also, I just have to touch on this because I heard it for a split second at the beginning. Was the girl who played Adelaide's name Sarah?
Yes, Sarah
That's
Romanelli.
incredible. Just because of Guys and Dolls being like Sarah and Adelaide. I
I
think that's
know.
so funny that the one who played Adelaide is named Sarah. I just had to touch on that. But no,
It's
that's
true.
incredible. And like having watched like the streamed version of the Jimmy Awards, like on my computer at home, seeing the incredible things they get to do with these kids for a week before performing, the amount of experience they get in such a small, short week, absolutely incredible. Absolutely
Yeah.
incredible.
I'm a huge fan of the Jimmys. Like one of the best weeks of my life, truly.
Yeah, 100%. And then not too long ago, you were at 54 Below, and this was not for the Alone concert, but to sing in 54 sings Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
And I have a clip that I'm going to pull up, but in the meantime, I'd love to hear about how you got involved in this particular concert.
It's so funny how I got involved. I saw a post about it on the 54 Below Instagram and went to the website, saw who was producing it, found their Instagram, messaged them, and said, "Hey, I'd love to be a part of this. I can send you clips." And that person was Callie Cloherty, who is now the artistic director of Lines in the Sky. And that's how connections are made, people. Just go for it. Shoot your shot, really.
Honestly, I think so many of us need to hear that way more often, because it's one of those things that we think it's so mystical of like, oh my God, you're just like discovered and then you get to do concerts and things like that. And it's like, well, no, we just need to remind ourselves, hey, that's a cool thing. Let me try and talk to the person. And especially when we have things like social media, why not? You know?
Absolutely. Social media is a tool.
Yes.
It is.
And it can be professional. It doesn't have to be this weird, like, hi, you don't know me, but like you can actually reach out to them and be like, hey, I am a professional. I want to work together. Let's do this.
Exactly.
And this is a perfect example of that. And I'm so excited to play this clip. So here's you singing this incredible anthem.
Born this way.
Such a good rendition. Such a good rendition.
Thank you.
That must have been so much fun to work on.
That song is a freight train. Like it just never stops.
No.
Like so at the end, I was like, whew, give me a sec.
You're like, give me a second to breathe. Hold on. And I've watched the full clip, and people should like go watch it if it's available somewhere. But the very beginning, you get to start it nice and slow, very like Tina Turner, like starting it slow and then we'll go fast. And I think that was so smart, just because that song is seriously, again, like you said, such a freight train. Once it gets started, you're not stopping to the end. So very, very smart to arrange it the way that you did.
Thank you. Just Lady Gaga is one of my biggest inspirations. So being able to sing that song was like so rewarding, truly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so excited now to talk about Lines in the Sky. So this year you founded your production company, Lines in the Sky, and used that in producing Alone's concert at Green Room 42. What made you decide to start this production company? And remind me who your partner is that you started it with.
Yeah, so after doing Alone, I realized that I have a knack for this producing thing. And it went so well, truly, that I was like, I wish someone like told me that I could do this, or like was there to help me. And after that concert, I was trying to do a reading of Alone, and like all the quotes I got from people, like every company I wanted to work with was like we'll work with you, but like we need a big cut of money in order to do this. And I was like, it's fair, but I don't got that kind of money.
Yeah.
So um it can be affordable to make your dreams come true, especially with original work in Manhattan.
Mhm.
So I wanted to start this production company to provide that bridge for people who don't even know where to start, or like want to I know I have the creative passion for this, and I don't know how to go about even doing it at 54 Below. So a lot of the
Mhm.
work we did when we started, we have 2 concerts at 54 Below coming up, both new original musicals, Human
Mhm.
and Eye of a Needle. All great writers, so excited, and we're not charging them anything upfront to work with us, which I think is something that we need to see more of. It's not about the
Yes.
money. I believe in your art. I'm doing this for the art. So um it's you know, as like a business person, people think like, okay, like this isn't going to be sustainable if you're not making money. But it can be if you think about the money that may come from the art and using that money to make more art. And,
Yeah.
it can be a sustainable way of living without saying, like, give me $5,000 and then I'll do it. Like, no,
Right. Yeah.
I
It's
have a
like
day job.
yeah, seriously. It's absolutely crazy. And your teammate on this, well, you said also that's who you worked with on the 54 Below Lady Gaga concert, right?
Yeah, Callie is such a passionate person too, which is something that attracted me to them as like, I would love for you to be a part of this. And also, they did reach out to me on Instagram and mentioned that they would love to be a part of it. And I
Mm.
was like, absolutely. Um, so again, just using your passion to lift up other people is
Yes.
a really great way to go about this business.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. Like part of the reason that I started like this little podcast show that I got going on here is because I just know so many freaking talented people and I want people to see how talented they are and how cool and great they are to work with. And so I fully agree. It's like if I have the chance to like show off these other people, let's do it. Like I don't what are we doing otherwise? You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
wholeheartedly agree with that. And the fact that your company is there to help with fundraising and there are no upfront costs. This is absolutely monumental and so often I feel like unheard of in New York City, which is so unfortunate, but I'm so glad that your company is here to be like, "Hey, this can work though." Like, let's just create this together and figure out what comes next.
absolutely. And I don't think money has to be this scary thing that people don't want to talk about. Like, the more
Yeah.
we talk about money, the more we can understand how to use it to our advantage. And fundraising is a great thing. There's no shame in fundraising, and it's a beautiful tool. So, yeah,
Yeah,
don't be afraid to create.
it gets people involved and invested in the work that you're fundraising for, which can be really exciting too. And one thing that you particularly know is that Lines in the Sky specifically serves to help produce original works. And I would love to hear how you specifically define original works and why you feel that that's so important.
Oh, yeah. So this is something that I have been so passionate about forever. It's just original new stories, no source material, no
Yeah.
jukebox musicals, no movie adaptations, enough adaptations. I think I don't like to speak ill of people and things because
Yeah.
art is art and all art is great, but I do feel that Broadway has become a bit commercial. And
Mhm.
that's not a new thing, like, people
No,
have been
it's not.
saying
Like
that.
that's very true.
Um, I love SpongeBob the musical, but,
Yeah.
for every Mean Girls, we need something like A Strange Loop to remind us
Yes.
that musical theater is an artistic medium
Mhm.
and a way to tell new stories, because I heard this recently that the world is changing every day. And if we keep telling the same stories over and over again, that is preventing us from growing with the world that's changing around us. So if we use art to tell these new stories, then we can change with the world and grow as a society. So telling original stories is so important, and using Broadway as a way to do that is a way to make it universal. So that's the long-term goal, because if not, then what are we doing this for?
Yes, 100%. I absolutely agree. And I'm curious, are you guys partial to musicals, or do you also want to help work on original plays too?
I'd love to work on an original play. We haven't
Really?
gotten any in our inbox, but please, I would love to.
I love that. I love that. And of course, you have some upcoming works with Lines in the Sky. You're mentioning too, plugging those specifically. Eye of a Needle, a folk musical by Logan Foster. Both of these are at 54 Below. And then Human and Ancient Music, a new ancient musical by Bonnie Corral and Kristen Lacey. The latter is on October 12th. I didn't write down the day of Eye of the Needle, but I'll plug the links to those below, and that kind of thing. How did you get into contact with these two composers, or sets of composers rather?
So they both reached out to us through our website, linesky.com.
Hey, there you go.
Bonnie found us through a Facebook group, musical theater writers, composers, and lyricists. Great group of networking. And then Logan found us through Callie. I think they went to school together.
Gotcha.
So yeah, it's just very exciting to get these people reaching out to us, being able to learn about their art. Eye of a Needle has some gorgeous music that I can't wait for people to hear. And Human is such an amazing concept with two brilliant minds behind it. And the music I've heard so far is like so captivating. So two very exciting projects.
That's so exciting, because I feel like I don't remember where I saw it recently, but someone had like made a post being like, "Where's the original theater? I can't find it." And it's like, here, let's all find it together. Let's go. Let's do this.
Yep, because
And go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, because original works are being created. They're just not
Mhm.
being given the attention they need.
And the funding.
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we're trying to do.
Exactly, exactly. And currently, Lines in the Sky has a Kickstarter going. You guys have an ongoing project to raise $5,000 in 45 days. As of yesterday, you guys have raised $1,600, which is absolutely incredible. And I'm curious, what will the money raised by this Kickstarter go towards, and how it will help you guys and other artists?
Yeah, so Kickstarter, we only get the money if we reach our goal. So we really
Mm.
need the support in these last, like, I think 6 days, or maybe even 5 days, I don't know. But all this money is going to go to these artists that we're lifting up. So we'd like to provide them with resources that we wouldn't otherwise be able to, like, rehearsal spaces, or
Mhm.
paying musicians, paying actors, and making
Yeah,
sure that everyone is being compensated for their time. Um, Even things like a fundraiser. You need some money to put into a fundraiser to get money out of it.
right.
So all of the money will go to creating the art and making it happen. And having that money to start off with would be a big game changer for us.
Absolutely. The Kickstarter ends on the 19th. So if you're watching this, go check it out. Go pledge some money. It'll help you guys and so many incredible artists coming up, and all that good stuff. Yes,
You
there
can
we go. We
scan this
love the
QR
business card.
code.
Oh my gosh. I hope that if someone pauses this, they can actually like scan that. That would be incredible. That's amazing. And sending you guys all the good vibes that you guys can finish this Kickstarter and get things going. And I'm so excited about these two concerts you have coming up. I think you guys are really gonna meet some incredible success, and that I'm so excited to see what's coming down the pipeline for you guys as a company. It's so exciting.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because we're coming to the end of this episode. Where can people find you, your company, your shows, all those good things on social media?
Yeah, Lines in the Sky, you can find us on Instagram at Lines in the Sky Prod for productions. And then our website is linesky.com with the double S in the middle. And my personal Instagram is Dean Tyler K. Dean Tyler K everywhere, TikTok. My website's deantylerk.com.
Love it.
That's where you'll find information about Alone too. At Alone Musical on Instagram, I think.
Yeah. I was like thinking about it. I'm like,
Great.
what did I tag earlier? Yeah, that's right. Amazing.
So yeah, just original art and new art needs support. So even a share on your socials helps so much. So
yeah. Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lora_Marjoram and my website, www.lauramarjoram.com. You can find this show on Instagram at Overtures Show, also like little double S in the middle, just like Dean's. And that's where you can find all the upcoming guests, their info, their bios. You can submit questions, all that good stuff. The most up-to-date info will be there, so go check it out. If you're watching this video version of it, you are more than likely on YouTube. Congrats, you found it. Click subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Join us live. Say hi. We love it when we have guests participate live with us. You can find this show also on Spotify and Apple Music, so you can listen on the go. I am pretty much up to date. I think I'm behind like one podcast upload, but that's okay. We will get to that later today. And then we also have a Ko-Fi page, so if you feel so inclined to buy us a cup of coffee, so to speak, then those proceeds go to keeping this show up so that I can continue to talk to amazing, talented people like Dean and keep showing up all their amazing things. My next stream is to be determined in terms of when it's happening. These next few weeks are kind of crazy for me, but I am literally in the middle of scheduling with some people right now, and we've got some awesome people in the pipeline, so I'm stoked. Dean, do you have any final thoughts for viewers live and in the future?
Oh, I just want to thank you. This is amazing. And
Thank you.
What you said earlier about using any resource and medium that you can to lift up other people is really beautiful. So thank you for doing that.
Well, and thank you for doing the same with your work with Lines in the Sky.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, the only way that it happens is support and belief. So just keep believing.
Yes,
and keep
absolutely.
creating.
Yes.
Keep creating.
Yes, absolutely. And with amazing wise words is that we will see you next time. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see you later. Bye, everyone.